Good day, students. In this video, we look into an important aspect of English grammar and communication: phrasal verbs, rules and usage. This is Dr. Parvathi Meena, Associate Professor of English, Sita Lakshmi Ramaswamy College, Tiruchirappalli. Let us delve deeply into phrasal verbs, their rules and usage. It is an idiomatic phrase consisting of a verb and other elements like adverbs, prepositions, or a combination of both. For example, break down, see to, look down on, respectively. Phrasal verbs are a kind of compound words. They are called by several other names like two-part verbs, composite verbs, and phrasal verbs. The prepositions or adverbs that are attached to a verb are otherwise called particle. A phrasal verb can also be replaced by a single word which means the same. For example, put up with is a phrasal verb which can be replaced by the word tolerate which means the same. There are four basic types of phrasal verbs. They are transitive phrasal verbs, intransitive phrasal verbs, separable phrasal verbs, and inseparable or non-separable phrasal verbs. As we look into the rules, we will also analyze these types. There are 8 points to be noted while understanding phrasal verbs. These are the rules that relate to the phrasal verbs. The first one being, phrasal verbs may be transitive or intransitive. When the phrasal verb takes an object, it is a transitive verb. For example, he took off his hat, where his hat is the object. When the phrasal verb does not take an object, it is an intransitive phrasal verb. For example, the plane took off at 6 o'clock, where at 6 o'clock is an adjunct. An adjunct is a word or a phrase when removed will not affect the meaning of the sentence. The second rule is, if a phrasal verb has no object, the particle follows the verb. For example, he is set off for London. Another sentence, he ran away to London. In both these sentences, London is an adjunct and not an object. The third rule is as follows. If a phrasal verb has a pronoun as its object, the particle usually follows the object. In this case, a phrasal verb is separable. For example, he gave it away. Another sentence, she took it away. In both these sentences, the word it is the object, which is a pronoun. So, the phrasal verb is separable. Let us move on to the fourth rule. If a phrasal verb has a noun or a noun phrase as its object, the particle usually follows the object. In this case also, the phrasal verb is separable. But when it is inseparable also, the meaning does not change. For example, he took his gloves off. It can also be written as he took off his gloves without change in meaning. However, if the object is a long unit like the ones given below, it would be awkward to put the particle after it. So, it is put after the verb. For example, he gave away his watch with the luminous dial. If written this way, like he gave his watch with the luminous dial away, is not generally accepted or used as the object is a long unit. Now moving on to the fifth rule. In some cases, the phrasal verb is non-separable as given in the following example. She looked after the baby is an acceptable form, whereas she looked the baby after is not generally used or accepted. The next rule, the sixth one, states that in some cases, if the phrasal verb is separated, the meaning may differ. For example, in get over a thing, when the verb get and the particle over are placed together, it means recover from or overcome. While in a get a thing over, where the verb and the particle are placed separately, it may mean be done with it or to do something unpleasant. The next rule, the seventh one, states, in some cases, the same combination can elicit more than one meaning, which means the same phrasal verb can mean two different things. For example, in the sentence, he went into the house. Here, went into can literally mean entered, while in he went into the problem can mean studied or analyzed the problem carefully. The last and the final rule, the eighth one, states that certain particles combine with verbs just to intensify the action denoted by the verb or to emphasize the completion of the action denoted. For example, let's finish up our work quickly and shall we clean up this room? In both these sentences, the particle up is used to emphasize the completion of action. Even without the particle up, the sentence can be understood, but up is used as an emphasis. To conclude, let us see why phrasal verbs should be used. The use of phrasal verbs is on an increase recently as it is an important feature of English. It also adds a certain style in communication. It also adds more meaning in communication. Let us learn the usage of the phrasal verbs for better communication. With this, we have come to the end of this video. Meet you all again with yet another interesting and useful topic. Thank you. Have a great day.